time for a little uncommon sense conversations right here on since-you-asked.com and thetruevision.net, where the truth shall not be sanitized. Not today or never, right here.
Yes.
And I am Jay Howard, along with Big Brother Mo Better, Michael B. Wright Sr. Big Brother, how you doing, man?
Trying to be like the great James Howard Green II.
Oh, there you go. There you go with that. There you go with that.
Hey, man, everybody trying to be like the velvet voice of Macon, Georgia. Called him the sultry teddy bear. Called him the sultry teddy bear.
Big Brother Mo Better.
Yes,
what is going on in your world? What is happening?
I wish I could tell you a play. All I can say is I'm between heaven and hell. That's all I can tell you.
Are you in purgatory?
I'm in between heaven and the hell. That's all I got today, boy. I tell you.
Well, let's go with the main headlines today. Number one headline is that your Homeland Security Secretary has been transported to D.C. area hospital after an allergic reaction.
What y'all do to the baby?
Are they trying to get rid of her?
What y'all do to the baby?
I ain't do nothing to the baby. The baby doing this to herself.
Did something to y'all and did something to the baby.
My. And now they done hemmed up R. Kelly. R. Kelly's hospitalized as well, Doc, on a prison assassination plot.
Oh, Lord. How you going to assassinate a prisoner? Isn't assassination known for like public officials and people that really doing something with their life?
Right. Well, this is what his lawyer said. There's an ongoing assassination plot against R. Kelly.
Who want to assassinate
against a prisoner who's serving 31 years?
Who want to assassinate R. Kelly?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to figure out what has he done so good for society that somebody would want him assassinated.
Well, I don't know.
See, these your cousins and your nephews and your aunts and your uncles.
Yeah. This is some crazy stuff going on, man. Uncommon sense.
Well, we pray for R. Kelly that no one continues to assassinate him. But
right.
That's all I got.
Exactly. That's all we got right now. That's all we got. Then, of course, the ICE agents, detain U.S. citizens of the L.A. immigration raids continue. And this thing is racially profiling.
This surprises you?
Well, that's a twist, isn't
it? Twist. They've been doing that since what? Man, please.
Well, we were doing peaceful marches in the 60s.
That part. Well, man, for the first time in history, two Marines actually detained a black citizen, a black veteran, during the LA riots. So you actually have, for the first time in American history, you got military acting as law enforcement, but they actually arrested a veteran. So that part.
Well, first of all, the Marines are not supposed to be there at all, period.
Yeah, that's
okay. That's first thing, because they don't handle civilians. Only the National Guard handles civilians, and that has to be ordered from the governor. But your president decided.
Who?
Your president decided to call in the Marines and the National Guard, going over the governor's head.
That part.
Now this is crazy.
It's crazy, man. But again, like we said before, man, this is really out of Project 2025, page 555. That's 550 or 555. One of those two pages. That's where it's coming out of.
Right.
So definitely, this is what the altercation they've been looking for, man, was LA riots. And so again, it's a playbook. And at the end of the day, Doc, they're looking for martial law. They're looking how to institute this thing full force. And it's just gonna be in the highlands, man. But yeah, they're there. But we are here.
Exactly. We're here.
Yeah,
but you know, let's get ready for the beautiful beam footage here. And as we get ready for this beautiful beam footage, here's a little explanation on what's going on with the ICE situation and this immigration situation right here on Uncommon Sense.
Their operations home. Didn't I tell you that? Well, look at California right now. Look at Los Angeles. What else do you think that is besides violent colonization turning inward? You think this is about immigration law? You think ICE is enforcing laws? No. They are marauders and you are the loot. ICE is not a law enforcement agency. It is a mercenary force under contract to private corporations, hunting human beings for profit. That's all it is. They work for the private prison industry. Your so-called immigration department is just a subsidiary. It's an interface for the private prison industry. That's what it is. That's what you turned it into. Every detention is a paycheck. Every deportation is a dividend. Do you understand? They're not police. They're pirates. They're pillagers. This isn't policy. This is commerce. It means they're going after immigrants now. This is the pilot project. They normalize it by targeting immigrants, but this is a profit-making endeavor. And you'd have to be crazy to think that they're not going to multiply their revenue streams by targeting other demographics. Does Amazon care what's in the box? No, neither does ICE. They don't care what's in the box. You're not a person, you're inventory. Now you may think, well, I'm not undocumented, so this isn't my problem. Wrong. Because this isn't just about who's being deported, it's about why this is being done the way it's being done in the first place. It's about who's in line next time when the migrants are not enough to satisfy the profit potential of their model. They don't protect communities, they invade communities and steal people. Where have we seen that before? Corporate contractors like Geo Group, like Core Civic. They're making billions of dollars from these cages, from this trauma, from this misery, from this terror. This is modern slavery packaged as homeland security.
There it is.
There it is in a nutshell.
And there you are in a nutshell.
I know, right?
What's wrong with you, Howard?
Hey, bro, I gotta take the mute button off.
Well, man, that's it right there, man.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're here, man, and he's 100% right. But we talked about that at the beginning of the year, that when you looked at the for-profit corporations as far as the prisons, man, those suckers been killing, and they back Trump like a mug, bro. So yeah,
don't they though?
It's and I'm telling you, man, this is what we are. Those for-profit prisons, man, they are making a killing off what they're doing right now. And I think even CNN came out with CNN came out with the report that only 10% of the quote unquote immigrants that were deported had a criminal record. You know,
right.
So that means 90%, you know, were just the average Joe Blows.
Right. Exactly. This is crazy. And then he said, well, leave the ones that's with the farms and with the hotels, and leave those alone. Don't touch them, because you're hurting our economy. Oh, brother, right? You stuck, man. What's wrong with you? You're frozen there. You frozen, man.
That's what he
brother,
said.
Right, frozen. You got frozen because you just didn't believe that, right?
Going on, man.
Look at you.
I don't know what's going on. Well,
hey man, it's okay. It's all right. We're gonna be all
try
right.
to stop us from talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then of course, you know, the Israel and Iran conflict.
I know, right? We're gonna power through this one. Yeah, you hear me on that?
Yeah. Now this conflict is mighty interesting here, brother. Mighty interesting. And Israel, of all people, started.
Interesting. More like scary.
But I thought they supposed to be fighting with Hamas. What's up with that?
Well, you thought Netanyahu was gonna stop with Gaza Strip?
Well, yeah, I thought so. I thought so. But evidently, so he's trying to bait Trump to pull the United States into it.
No, Netanyahu, man, want a full-fledged World War III.
Okay. He said he want a World War III conflict, actually. It's to start World War III, correct? You going in and out, brother. In and out.
We already there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we already there.
So we already there at World War III, you said?
Man, when you're looking at with Iran, we already there. Because every conflict that you see around the world, somehow, some way, America got its tentacles in it. You know, so with that understanding, it's just a matter of time. Now, unfortunately, you're in a situation where if you get pulled into this, just like you did with the Iraq war, America cannot fight that kind of a guerrilla warfare with Iran. That's why we got slaughtered over there in Iraq, 20, 30 years over there and nothing changed,
Right.
Because again, it's known America just cannot fight that kind of terrain. And also not only the terrain, man, the mentality of the Iranians and Iraqs and the Islam and Muslims over there, man, the mindset is different. When they say they will fight to the death, they mean that.
They mean that, Doc. They mean that. Well, all they might.
Bro. All they might, bro. They mean that. So if we get pulled into this, which 9 out of 10, this is where we're headed, unless there's some kind of ceasefire. But I don't understand why the international community, especially the UN, doesn't pull Netanyahu in, because again, this was unprovoked. This was unprovoked, man. Just out of the blue.
How they gonna pull him away when Trump goes to G7? He leaves G7 because, quote unquote, he's going into the situation room to talk about, okay, what are we gonna do now about this Israel-Iran conflict?
What do you mean? What are we gonna do?
What they gonna do? What they gonna do?
What they gonna do, but
yeah, exactly.
But again, man, every single bomb Israel got, you're getting it from America, man. When you think about
it,
America is fueling this stuff, boy. Even when you look at Ukraine, every single thing they got, man, they're getting it from America. So
but wait a minute, right? Wait a minute. Russia said that they would go ahead and they would cut a deal against Iran and Israel, that they will be the mediators to bring peace to Iran and Israel. And I'm like, how y'all gonna do that when y'all can't do that with
Ukraine?
With Ukraine. This doesn't make sense.
It doesn't at all, man. But this is uncommon sense, man. This is asinine. But somewhere, somehow, it makes sense to somebody. But I don't see how. I don't see how. But
then Trump goes to the G7 and tells them they should never throw Russia out of the G7.
Well, Again, Russia was thrown out of the G8 because they started the war with Ukraine. So they was kicked out then.
Right.
Exactly. So prior to the conflict, Russia was involved. When Russia started conflict, they kicked them out. So that's how that thing rolled.
Wow.
And it's very embarrassing again when Trump went to the G7 and started pontificating about something he knows exactly what he was talking about. And
Yeah. And the rest.
But like my granddad used to say, it's best to be thought of food and open your mind for move off doubt.
Yeah. Exactly.
That part.
Exactly. That part. And as the country is getting poorer and poorer, the president himself is getting richer and richer. Trump.
Tell me about it, man.
Trump Mobile? Trump Mobile, Doc. Here it is. Trump Mobile.
You can't make this up, man.
$4.99 for the phone. A gold phone.
A gold phone.
Now, isn't that a conflict of interest, bro?
Everything that man does is a conflict of interest. What you do?
Exactly. Everything.
Everything.
You go from the gold phone, then you go to the Trump card.
That part.
Now,
you can't make this up.
This is very interesting right here, though, Doc. Because of course, anything with the government is .gov. How you have Trump card .gov on it?
Like I said, I have no idea. I don't even know how we got here with that.
And this is a $5 million card to buy your citizenship here in the United States.
And my question is, who's gonna pay it? That's all I need to know. Who gonna pay?
Somebody.
And where the money going?
Probably Putin. Yeah, where the money going?
Where the money going? I'm trying to say.
Bruh, this is crazy. Uncommon sense, Doc.
Bruh, you can't make this up, man. Now again, you still got you got to ask yourself, how did the United States Congress let something like that happen?
They've been letting everything else happen.
How do you get a website? I know, but how do you get a website with Trump.gov? And that's you know what? Oh well.
Oh, wait till you see the big beautiful bill. Wait till you see that.
I'm good. I know that I'm good.
You good?
I'm good. Yeah. Man.
Well, bruh, while Trump doing his thing, we got some more stuff to look at because it's some serious stuff that's happening behind the scenes that we ain't seeing, bruh. We have no idea. We have no clue. So
that's the whole point.
That's the whole point. How corporations are secretly poisoning our food supply.
That have already
poison our food supply, right?
Poison our, yeah, man. We in the past tense phase right now, bro.
Bruh. When this beautiful beam footage right here, when we play this, we got to play the whole thing and just stop it at certain points because this thing is so deep that people got to see this thing. They got to see it, man.
They got to, man, because it's real.
This thing is real, dog.
And you didn't got to read.
This is why you got all these cancers and all these sicknesses that nobody can explain. It's just crazy.
We sat here and ate beef 3, 4, 5 days a week. For as far as I'm concerned, over a decade of contaminated beef.
That's it, man.
How much is in my system? How much is in my kids' system? Is it going to kill them before they get a life? It's hard to say.
There's something poisoning America's farms. A chemical that was built in a lab decades ago by companies who knew in private that it was highly toxic. Now that chemical is showing up almost everywhere.
It is a Pandora's box. It's going to blow up, and people are going to find out it's in it and everything, and it's in everyone, and there's nothing to clean it up, and there's nothing to save you from it.
Toxic PFAS, also known as
forever chemicals.
PFAS are in so many consumer products. Non-stick pans,
dental floss, computer chips,
shampoos, and conditioners.
Whether it's gone down the river and contaminated fresh drinking water for people, or if it's on farmland and you're eating it, it's out there.
We have a mass poisoning of our population.
Forever chemicals are linked to a number of serious health issues.
How can a company knowingly have contaminated the groundwater?
So, how did we get here? How did our farms become toxic waste sites?
PFAS. Right, Brother Wright?
PFAS, yes, sir.
And PFAS.
That's what we're looking at.
That's what we're looking at. That's poisoning our waters. That's poisoning our beef. All of our foods right now that they're using and saying, quote unquote, is good for the environment, but it really ain't.
How did the Teflon in your nonstick pan become a full-blown public health crisis? And why has it taken so long for the government to take action?
They knew about the problem for decades.
And now they've got a chemical that can't be destroyed, it can't be cleaned up. If we don't get some real response real soon, we're all going to be in a real hell of a shit show mess.
Can you talk about how you guys name the cattle?
It's just it's a family thing. My kids name them, my wife names them, and it's just better than numbers.
Jason Grostick is a third-generation cattle farmer from Brighton, Michigan.
We started back in the early 1900s. Back then it was a dairy farm. My dad took over things in the 70s. We lost him to a farming accident in 95. And then in 97, we decided to get out of the dairy and get into beef. There you go, have fun. That business was booming. We were growing steadily every year. We had plans of our kids taking over and doing it. 3 generations, could have been 4. But as we look at it now with PFAS shutting us down in 2022, there's no growth here. There's no more family farming.
A few years ago, Jason got a call that he wasn't expecting from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
January 27th of 2022, got on a Zoom meeting with 4 people I'd never seen in my life. The head of MDARD, he starts apologizing, all sympathetic and this, that, and the other thing. And I finally said, what the hell are you talking about? You don't know? And I says, no, what? He says, well, we're serving you a seizure notice today. You're shut down. Nothing leaves the farm.
Without warning, the state of Michigan had shut down Jason's farm, declaring it contaminated and unusable. They cited high levels of so-called PFAS on the land.
This is the bucket of tags of all the animals we lost. Either they died because of it, or we dispatched them to save them their own pain and misery. It's been tough on my wife and kids. I was just a miserable bastard for 2 years, and they got the brunt of that shit show. I mean, they took away my livelihood. They basically bankrupted me. They told me I'd be back in business in no time. Here I am, 3 years and a few months into it, and I don't have rights to farm. The government took all that away from me over something I didn't do. I didn't dump the chemical here.
Jason's farm was poisoned.
Wow. Something the government told him to use, Brother Wright. And then they shut him down.
Yeah.
And say that the whole farm was contaminated.
Poison the land, man.
Mm.
Poison the land, man. That's it. You never cover from that, man. The land is lost.
The land is lost. So how do we even turn this? You know, instead of protesting.
You can't. That's the whole problem.
Instead of protesting Dollar General, we need to be doing something about this. You know?
That's it, man.
This is crazy.
We should be, man. Because again, this is why This is why they gut the EPA, man. This is why we in some serious trouble now, man. Folks really know how bad it really is.
Right. And really, that was the mission of Elon Musk, to go in there and wipe out EPA, because that's going to bring him more dollars, as you're going to see later on in the show, in the broadcast, because you're going to see even where Elon Musk, the reason why he came in is to dismantle everything, the ERA, so that he could do what he wanted to do. And I know everybody saw the little love fest between them, and then they saw the breakup, but don't get fooled by the breakup. That was just a show. That was just a show so they can get separation from each other.
By PFAS chemicals that were buried within a type of fertilizer called biosolids. Every time you flush your toilet or do a load of laundry, that water goes to a wastewater treatment plant. And biosolids are the leftover byproduct of that process. For decades, the EPA has encouraged the use of biosolids as a cheap fertilizer.
I'm not the only one that took biosolids. The EPA said it's clean, the state of Michigan said it was clean, and I'm on a small scale. Some of these farms are creating tens of thousands of gallons of milk a day. How many homeowners is that hitting?
It's estimated that as many as 20 million acres of farmland across the country could be contaminated with forever chemicals.
There's PFAS in West Virginia, New Mexico, Arizona, Wisconsin. I mean, it's showing its face everywhere.
So how did this happen? How did forever chemicals end up in our waste? And who put the poison there in the first place?
There's something wrong with this cow, and they keep trying to tell me there's nothing wrong with these things. I can call the West Virginia State Veterinarian, Doc Thomas, and the only thing he asked me is, do you have a good attorney?
You know, and when Mr. Tennant first reached out to me and was concerned about his cattle, we thought, you know, this is going to be a fairly straightforward, quick, easy case. We had no idea that we would be dealing with PFAS or any of these completely unregulated man-made chemicals.
Rob Bilott started out as a corporate lawyer who specialized in defending large chemical companies from environmental lawsuits. But in 1998, he was approached by a farmer from Parkersburg, West Virginia, a man named Wilbur Tennant.
And this is what they expect a man's cows to drink on his own property.
Wilbur's cows had been acting deranged and dying off at an alarming rate.
There was a serious problem occurring on that property. There was something coming out of this landfill next to his property.
That landfill belonged to the largest employer in town, the chemical giant DuPont.
It took some battling in court to finally get DuPont ordered to start turning over their internal files. What I began to see there really kind of changed my entire perception of what I thought I knew about environmental law in the United States.
Those documents, 110,000 pages in total, contain private letters, health reports, and scientific studies. And Rob kept finding mention of one chemical in particular.
PFOA, perfluorooctanoic acid. We were dealing with a chemical that had been invented by the 3M company right around really the time of World War II. It was DuPont that was around the same time had invented its own new chemical called Teflon.
Food doesn't stick to Teflon like it does to other things.
Teflon was famous for its non-stick, waterproof properties. But to make Teflon at scale, DuPont needed the chemical that 3M was producing. So they started buying it in huge quantities, shipping it to what would become the largest Teflon plant in the world, right outside of Parkersburg.
They were concerned, though, by this unique chemical structure of PFOA, this 8 carbons attached to fluorine. The DuPont scientists realized that was a very strong chemical bond, something that probably wouldn't be able to be broken apart. The concern became at that point, well, what would happen to living things that might get exposed to this?
So by the early 60s, DuPont started running its own experiments on rats, rabbits, and eventually their own workers. And they kept finding a concerning pattern.
There was a wealth of information within both 3M and DuPont that this particular chemical was toxic, persistent, cancer-causing. Yet all of this information was essentially kept internal to the companies. And this information had been covered up. The public hadn't been told, the regulators hadn't been told, the scientific community hadn't been told.
Armed with all of this evidence, Rob was able to settle Wilbur Tennant's case in 2001. But by that point, he had already opened Pandora's box.
What we had seen in the internal DuPont documents was that the same chemical was also getting into the public drinking water of the entire surrounding community, about 70,000 people in that area. So we had filed a new lawsuit against DuPont, this time a class action on behalf of the entire community.
That lawsuit eventually yielded a settlement of $70 million. But DuPont still refused to acknowledge that their chemicals could have played any role in causing widespread health issues in Parkersburg. So the settlement was used to do something unique. The money went towards developing a massive health study conducted by an independent panel of scientists.
We got 69,000 people out of the 70,000 in that community who came forward and participated. Probably some of the biggest human health studies ever done on any chemical. And by 2013, they had confirmed that drinking PFOA in the water was linked with 6 different diseases: kidney cancer, testicular cancer, ulcerative colitis, thyroid disease, preeclampsia, and high cholesterol.
Today, there are
all those diseases that it was linked to.
And my thing is, man, why ain't somebody saying something about that, bro?
Nothing. Nobody's saying anything about that. Nobody's making mention of it.
That's the thing that concerns me more than anything is, why are we not hearing more about this on a large scale? And again, it goes back to the EPA.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. But see, Musk is already, he already dismantled the EPA.
I wonder why.
Well,
yeah, man. But again, though, man, this precedes what Musk is doing. And
right.
Knowing Teflon and how far this thing is going has went. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about the farmland,
right,
man, can you imagine if things really were the way it's supposed to be, and the lawsuits start hitting DuPont and 3M as it relates to what this situation is? Let's see, you're going to be hard pressed again to try to link all this now with so many years and so many gaps in between. That's going to be the issue that people will be saying now, man.
Right, right. And then, they settled for $70 million, correct? But they took the money and did studies with it. Like what?
So what does that do to 3M and DuPont?
Makes them richer and richer.
Because $7 million ain't gonna do nothing to DuPont.
No. Look how long they've been in existence.
DuPont and 3M, you can't touch them.
No.
The kind of money vault they got, goddamn. Yeah. But then when you're looking at, again, this is why it's important for people to start growing your own food.
Yes.
Say again, Jay.
That's right. That's why it's very important that people grow their own food right now.
Get started with something. And for those individuals who have, again, land in your family, the last thing you want to do is sell their land. So if young people, if you got land from your grandparents, stuff like that, please don't sell their land.
Please don't
let them folk fool you and sell them your real land.
No.
But
don't do it. Man.
But see, they did okey doke, man. They made these young folks think that the rural area is boring and da. So I ain't never going back. Now you discovering you better have some land.
You better have
a lot from the pit of hell.
Yeah.
Better have something. Yeah.
Better have something.
So, I don't know. But again, I don't see how the EPA is not on the hook because they told farmers that that biosludge was actually safe. So I don't see how the EPA is not on the hook for this, man.
They're not on the hook.
But they're
not
it,
on the hook, man. I mean, come on. That's how our good government been doing it for years.
Right. But again, they pushed it, man. They told the farmers that stuff was safe.
They did.
And like the farmer said, man, he was on he's on a small scale. These other big heavy hitters, man, ain't no telling where and how much that stuff is into the farm food, man.
That's crazy. Wow.
But
For years,
For years, man. So again, you don't know how far down that line it is.
No.
You
we
really
just
don't.
talk about
And you don't know,
Michigan
again,
and South Carolina
as far
and North
as
Carolina.
the implications of. But you still haven't. Again, you're just on the tip of the iceberg. You have not went down that rabbit hole to see exactly how far this thing goes. And again, the years of implications of being the gap, and nobody knows what was going on.
Right.
So
wow.
So I'm very concerned because again, if this farmer here, and this was just 3 years ago, man. If this farmer here is saying that this stuff has been there for years and he still can't farm after being shut down for 3 years, what does that tell you?
That it's been here for some years and years. Wow.
And again, nobody knows anything about it, man.
Nobody.
At least
nobody.
At least not the folks that run in my circle,
Right. Nobody in my circle knows about it.
So like
what?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that is, and again, those forever chemicals, man, are everywhere now. Again, it has leached, it has leached into your drinking water. Every time these Senate beads and stuff that people using now, all that stuff, man, is just going straight into the drinking water.
Straight into there.
So yeah, and again, nothing is safe. So that there is a serious dilemma as it relates to you protecting your health, but again, you really don't know how to because you don't know what the enemy is. The kind of hid within everything.
Right.
So that's what that is, bro. And again, because of the gap, because of lack of connection and connective tissue, people who've been affected by this really could never be made whole, man. Because again, no one knew of the epidemic style of what it is.
Right.
Except for, again, folks who were trickling in the circle in the beginning, and they found out, and of course you had a lawyer to back you up, and you could da. But everybody doesn't have that kind of pull, man.
Right.
Especially again these small areas, they don't have that kind of pull, bro.
No, not that kind of pull, Doc. Just like this small area in Memphis, Tennessee, that was trying to figure out why is Elon Musk in Memphis, Tennessee, the man that got all the money in the world is in Memphis, Tennessee. So let's run that beautiful beam footage right quick before we get out of here.
Sometimes the most shocking corporate misconduct is hidden in plain sight, invisible to the naked eye.
What is happening here will swallow our world if we don't stop it right here, right now.
Looking back, there was an early clue that the world's richest man was up to something here.
It's just like, why is Elon Musk coming to Memphis?
The people of Memphis soon found out.
Now Elon Musk is coming to Memphis to build the world's largest supercomputer.
A year later,
we here because we mean business.
People here want answers.
It's the job of the health department to protect our lungs, and not once have they went to XAI to see that they had 35 gas turbines operating and polluting our air.
We went to Memphis and found an environmental crime scene. Musk's data center burning enough methane to power a small city with no permits and no pollution controls.
I have not seen anything like this. We believe they've already violated the Clean Air Act.
As Musk helps dismantle the very federal agency that's supposed to protect us against pollution like this,
There is no way to miss how this is a coordinated strategy.
what does Memphis reveal about the future Elon Musk wants for us all?
So the mission of XAI and Grok is to understand the universe.
In 2023, Musk founded XAI to produce and sell artificial intelligence.
We want to understand the nature of the universe so we can figure out where are the aliens, what's the meaning of life, how does the universe end.
Its main product is Grok, an AI chatbot that he's incorporated into Twitter, or X. Musk was entering the race to dominate the AI market, but he was arriving late, years after competitors like OpenAI and Google had begun training their AI systems. So in Musk's mind, he had to move fast.
We went to the data center providers and said, how long would it take to have 100,000 GPUs operating coherently in a single location? And we got time frames from 18 to 24 months. So we're like, well, 18 to 24 months, that means losing is a certainty. So the only option was to do it ourselves.
Been waiting for this moment. I am pleased to announce that XAI's Gigafactory of Compute, the world's largest supercomputer, is to be located in Memphis, Tennessee.
Musk dubbed the project Colossus, after a movie about a supercomputer that becomes sentient and assumes total control of the world.
And so, my fellow human beings, we all directly and indirectly live in the shade, but not the shadow of Colossus.
When you think about the computational power that it will take to put humans on the surface of Mars, that's going to come from the Gigafactory of Compute that calls Memphis home. We were told that by the company. And so it required speed and power.
It's announced as a done deal.
Keyshawn Pearson grew up in South Memphis.
A billionaire and his organization is coming to our city, and we're just finding out after the land has been purchased, after the project has been approved by certain officials, right, who did know.
This is huge. This puts the word out there that Memphis understands operating at the speed of business.
As a community, we're trying to reach out to people and understand what is XAI. He built it without us even knowing that it was being built.
We had to watch this over X or Twitter. Brent Mayo, Elon Musk would tweet often about where they were in the progress, how fast things were moving.
To train an AI system, a data center requires an enormous amount of electricity. The question was, where would the power come from?
Most companies, when they come to the city of Memphis, they plug into our power grid. That's what you think would happen. Why would this be any different? Unfortunately, we learned because it is a billionaire's corporation, it would be a lot different.
XAI made a deal with the local electric company for 150 megawatts of power and agreed to build a new substation to help meet that demand. But Musk's ambitious plans suggested he would need much more power than that, and fast. Soon, people started to notice some unusual structures outside the facility.
I drove out there, and the first thing I did was hear the turbines. You can smell it as well. Such a disturbingly unique smell.
From the road, Keyshawn and others could see a row of machines that are typically only used for remote or emergency operations. Mobile gas turbines.
I have never seen portable turbines used like this.
Patrick Anderson works on air quality cases for the Southern Environmental Law Center.
We know that these kinds of generators require air permits. And so right off the bat, we started filing records requests with the local Shelby County Health Department. Do you have an air permit application from XAI? And they came back and basically said, no, we have nothing to hand over. We also filed records requests with EPA to see what they had. They also did not have details on what is on the ground out there. Nobody from the regulatory side, the health department, the city, EPA, has told the public or us really one iota of what's actually operating out there.
To figure that out, Patrick and his team hired a photographer to capture the data center from above. The images revealed far more turbines than anyone knew about. 35.
I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned. How do we not know about this?
According to XAI leadership, the turbines are not being used and are not connected.
Under pressure, XAI claimed it was using less than half of those turbines.
I've talked to the XAI leadership team. There are 35, but there are only 15 that are on. The other ones are stored on the site.
Well, first off, these are expensive. There's a turbine shortage nationally. You don't obtain these turbines and put them on site if you're not intending to operate them.
So Patrick and his team sent the photographer back out with a high-end thermal camera.
What we saw is 33 of the 35 were very clearly operating.
The turbines were capable of generating about 420 megawatts of electricity, enough to power around 300,000 homes.
They've built a power plant out there. And they've done it overnight, no air pollution controls, quick and dirty, no permit.
I mean, what you've done with the cluster in Memphis is incredible. Just in a handful of weeks.
Any given thing can be sped up.
Yeah.
Like whatever the speed is being done, it can be done faster.
This is the largest AI cluster in the world. This place is absolutely amazing.
That is like superhuman. I mean, Elon is singular. Building a massive factory in the short time that was done, there's only one person in the world who could do that.
And this entire supercomputer is built to power rocks.
We were given a tour at XAI, looking at the facility, very impressive, very exciting for Memphis. Their commitment to the community is remarkable.
It's unique in my experience.
Joseph Goffman has worked on air pollution issues for decades. Until January, he ran the EPA office that regulates air quality.
Most companies that I've dealt with go to great lengths and spend a lot of money to make sure that the day they turn on their operations, they're also turning on their pollution control equipment. That's a given. For a company to do this, it's treating the people who live there as if they don't count.
I like to open my windows early in the morning to breathe the fresh air, God's given air, not the air that man want to give us, but God.
Easter Knox lives just over a mile from XAI.
I really wasn't getting the fresh air. I was getting that pollution that was mixed in with everything.
You know how you light your stove and that gas seeps with the little ticking noise? That's what it smelled like.
Alexis Humphreys grew up here, one street away from Easter.
When I smelled it the first time, I was asleep. And it woke me up because I thought gas was seeping in the house, but come to find out, we come outside and all the neighbors was outside trying to figure out what's going on.
He was an ordinary dad, full of joy, full of jokes.
Last year, Alexis lost her grandfather, who struggled with a respiratory illness called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD.
COPD is a breathing condition, but you don't get it unless you smoke cigarettes. And my granddad didn't smoke cigarettes, but every 3 weeks or so, my granddad was going to the hospital. He would have to get breathing treatments. I have asthma, bronchitis. My mom have just bronchitis, and now my granny has it.
You can't hardly breathe. It's just like your whole world is collapsing down on you, and it's frightening.
Easter and her husband have also developed COPD. What does it feel like?
Feel like you're fixing to die.
Now, that's what he was doing in Memphis. Right there. That's why he dismantled the EPA.
Yeah, that's why he did it, man.
Yeah.
And this is why, again, I don't see it. This is why I get pissed off. And why we're boycotting Target and Dollar General.
Yeah.
You got good folks up there like that, man, getting killed.
Right.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, literally. Because of what Musk did over there in Memphis. And the sad thing about it is you got a black mayor that supported it. I digress. Yeah.
And the people knew nothing about it until it was built.
That's because, again, the color. But see, and Trump, again, rolled back all the when you're talking about environmental injustice, Biden was trying to correct those things. When you're looking at Council Alley and stuff like that, he was trying to make that right. But Trump rolled all that back. And so when you're looking at that, now these individuals are having to deal with Musk and his situation in Memphis. And so you're back at square one. But this is why that boy wanted to go through the federal agencies and do what he did, man. So this was all a part of the game,
right?
You know,
right.
And
yeah,
go ahead, man.
I said, so don't get caught up into, hey, they were in a fight. No, don't get caught up into that.
No, man.
That was just a smoke screen for everybody.
That's a game.
Because Trump had to wash his hands, and Musk had to wash his hands, so they wouldn't link everybody to him. But come on.
But I don't see how you wash your hands of this.
You can't.
And again, man, this right here is where you're talking about strategy and playing chess. If the Democrats were of any kind of strategy, they could run this thing right up the gauntlet. But again, if someone does not know how to articulate this, and again, bring national attention to it, it's all right to get a YouTube shot, which is beautiful, but you need national attention to this, man.
Right.
And so, but because again, it's affecting a black neighborhood, is not getting that kind of thrust.
Right.
But now again, CNN, you name it, every single media outlet should be in Memphis, Tennessee, bringing highlights of this, man, because again, this situation is a lawsuit waiting for somebody. And where your boy Crump at?
He up there dealing with low hanging fruit. He's not dealing with that.
Well, he needs to jump a little higher. So again, you got your Crumps out there. You got your Rainbow Push Coalition out there. You got your National Network out there. You got your Warnock out there.
We fighting Dollar General.
Dollar General ain't did nothing to you.
Exactly.
But Elon Musk has done something to you.
Exactly.
So man, I don't see. This is why you now know. Like I said, man, you let it run long enough, then what was the real aim finally comes to pass. Because when you talk about saving, making the government more efficient, and then you throw a parade that costs between $25 to $45 million, and you want to be more efficient, okay.
Yeah.
I just make it make sense, man. That's all I'm saying. Make it make sense to me.
Make it make sense. Uncommon sense conversation. Make it make sense. Where the truth shall not be sanitized. And it's the truth, Doc. The man himself said the truth shall make you free.
That's what he said.
Yes, sir. That's what he said. Uncommon sense. You can usually hear us every Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. in case somebody just get caught by the rain, and you know they.
Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
Don't make it personal, right?
Look at bro. The struggle is real. You hear me?
The struggle is real, brother. The struggle is real.
Yeah, but
and happy before happy 30th anniversary, you and the First Lady, Dr. K. Y'all 30 years in.
Yeah, if we make it
what?
6 more hours.
6 more hours?
8 more hours, yeah, man. We might be on. We might be on to something.
Oh yeah, y'all on to something.
We might be on the show.
So. All right, brother. Happy anniversary to you, man.
Well, I appreciate you, player. We gonna do a little sham.
Until next time, because I don't know, y'all might be going to Egypt or something. We might not have the show next week. You might be in Egypt.
It's too many bombs going on for me to go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's right. Trump ain't letting nobody go nowhere, right?
And too many planes are dropping out of the sky.
Yes, sir. You're right.
For me to go anywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I can't drive, I ain't going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And wow. I don't know. It's the internet, man. Something going on. I can't.
Something going on, man. They don't want us to be great, but we're gonna be great anyway.
We need to start our own network.
There you go. There you go. Because if Musk could do it, we could do it, right?
If we had half of the kind of money that man got.
No, just a quarter. We don't even need half. We just need a quarter.
Man.
Yes,
but
sir.
sad thing about it, most of it is taxpayers' money. So half of it is in there somewhere.
Yeah. At least a quarter of it is ours.
Yes. At least.
We need to go get our money, as King said.
Some of my biscuit.
Uncommon sense. Right here on since you asked.com and thetruevision.net.